Hello everybody, this is Amir Alwani from PotentNews.com. Welcome to another episode of me talking about stuff. This time the police chief in Ottawa has resigned. Everybody knows this now. It's already made the rounds across the whole world, which is watching the city of Ottawa and other places that are going through similar things, similar protests, blah blah blah. So, there was some interesting things I found about the numerology of this situation, and I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to try to relate it a little bit to some of the stuff that's been going on astrologically. And okay, so there's a lot to cover here, so let's just get right into it. Okay, since the last video I put out on the 12th, that was like 4 days ago, we were in a Cancer moon at that time, so that was a bit more, depressed time, or time for being nurturing, or being in your home, or cooking, or anything to do with intuition and sort of recharging your batteries and stuff like that. And the moon rules Cancer, so it's always a moody time when that happens. But this last one wasn't so bad, I think. But anyway, after that, we got into Leo moon, and now we're almost finished that, and tomorrow is going to be a full moon, and it's going to be a full moon while the Venus and Venus and Mars are conjuncting, and I believe that was on where is it here, for fuck's sake? Yeah, okay, so that was on the 16th degree. Venus conjuncting Mars on the 16th degree on February 16th at 9:28 a.m. So I'm not going to go into too much what that means, but basically, one thing it means is balancing inner masculine and feminine. And so Venus is kind of like what you attract, and what you find attractive, and it's more feminine energy, and Mars is war and conflict and passion and being able to draw lines in the sand. And this situation has kind of been happening all month. It's just like mostly happening there. So I find it interesting that it is happening right when the full moon is happening. Just it's at 9:28 a.m. this conjunction, and then the full moon is at 11:56 a.m. Eastern time. And then hold on. So yeah, the moon will be entering the void of course moon period at that same time as well, at 11:56. Which is interesting because the moon enters, or the sun rather, enters the 29th degree of Aquarius the next day at 11:56, same fucking time. Again, I'll say that again. The full moon is happening at 11:56 in Leo tomorrow, or today. Depending on how fast I release this video. And so I know I'm getting all Virgo-like here with all the details, just starting to lose the big picture, but I'll come back a bit to the big picture real soon. But the fact that it's a Leo moon, number one, that's interesting off the bat, because the guy who resigned is a Leo. That Peter Slawley is a Leo, and what he resigned the day before the full moon, and it's at a time when, see, I was thinking more the, because of all this stuff with the 16th, because I know the 16th tarot card is the Tower, so that's a rude awakening situation, something you could not see coming, or crumbling foundations, or anything like that. So, you know, take that and sort of apply that to the number 16, where you have this balancing of masculine and feminine with the Venus conjunct Mars. And keep in mind, this is Venus in Capricorn conjunct Mars in Capricorn. So these two planets are in the exact same spot in the astrological sky. And they're both in the sign of Capricorn, and there's already a lot of other planets in Capricorn. So we are right now, actually, we have still, obviously, Pluto has been in Capricorn for a while, and now Venus and Mars. So just that makes it still a stellium. But we had even more than that before for a while. So there was an overload of Capricorn energy, and I'll come back to that. But the fact that, so that's already happening, the overload of Capricorn energy, and then right when you have part of that Capricorn energy being these two short-term planets that are conjuncting, and that being on the 16th degree, on the day that's also the 16th day, and that being, on the same day as a full moon, which is happening at 11:56 a.m. The day before the sun enters on the sun enters the 29th degree of Aquarius on February 17th, also at 11:56 a.m. And for the layman, I mean, just it's kind of like the 29th degree sucks. You either master the thing, or it's gonna be like you didn't, because it's the last degree of any sign is the 29th degree. So unless the person's a real master with what's going on or whatever, then it's a time that can be prone to shitty decision making. Now, I mentioned in the last video that, you know, the decision to make the starting of that Freedom Convoy thing happen at January 29th. I mean, I've been seeing synchronicities with the number 20. Like I have in my brain database that's already public. You guys can go see the number, the section 29. Just put 29 in the brain database from potentnews.com. You'll see everything that I got on there. But I have to make a video about that that'll be user friendly for people to sort of digest it better. But the point is, I have a lot of data connecting the number 29 basically to the technocracy and the onset of Age of Aquarius, and 2 + 9 is 11, and so I see a lot of that, and a lot of 9. So Klaus Schwab is a life path 9. His mentor Maurice Strong is a life path 9. On and on and on. It gets pretty deep, even with the numerical value of the license plate of the car that ran over the protesters was number 9 value for that, the gematria numerical value of that license plate. Gets pretty trippy. And I'll come back to that in this video if I can remember to, but what I'm trying to say here is before, when I was looking at this, I was like, okay, maybe that'll mean like some sort of tower situation, for that day, for the full moon. So, but now I'm thinking that given the fact that this guy's a Leo, And given the fact that this full moon is at a Leo moon, and mind you, at 3:53 p.m. Eastern, the moon will go to Virgo, and it'll be more of a being in the background kind of energy and whatnot, and possibly clearing the air with people, but generally not as out there as Leo, and so even that kind of makes me feel like I don't want to. Even that kind of makes me feel like this could have been the tower moment that I had my eye on, even though it didn't happen right at the full moon, which is what you somewhat might expect, but the day before. Because I don't know, like I mean, I'm still open to some extra shit happening tomorrow, or it's technically today. I'm saying tomorrow because it's still dark out, but it's 5:49 a.m. right now as I record this. And yeah, so that is the February 16th. Yeah, that's the February 16th full moon. That's linked up with somehow the sun entering the 29th degree, and maybe there's some sort of astrological explanation for that I'm not aware of, but I don't know. It seems pretty weird to me, but because if something's going to line up, I would expect it to, anyway, like so the again another recap, okay. So this whole thing to me is about Age of Aquarius. This whole last 2 years is about Age of Aquarius, the dark manifestation of it, and sort of also, the light one too. There's a lot of good stuff happening as well, but this when I to give you even more perspective here. Okay, hold on, because I just saw another thing in my notes. How did I want to say this? All right, I think I'm overthinking this now. I'm just gonna take a hit of this. 1 second. So to recap, so I'm like I said before, the last video on the 12th was Cancer moon. The moon on the 14th, the morning of the 14th, entered Leo. But the moon that earlier that day, before it entered Leo, right, it's at the last few degrees of Cancer, and when it entered the 29th degree of Cancer, approximately 4:20 a.m., that was a time when Mercury was also inside the 29th degree of Capricorn. It entered that degree of Capricorn on February 13th, right? Think of that death card, that 13th card of the tarot. At 1:42 p.m. So Sorry, I'm just distracted because I know there's like a limit for 15 minutes on one of the platforms that I want to upload this video to, and it just went to that mark right now. Anyway, so the point is, again, recap: Mercury enters 29th degree of Capricorn February 13th, and then you have on the 14th the Moon enters the 29th degree of Cancer. So that means you got the Moon and Mercury both in the 29th degree at the same time, and basically opposing each other. So, because like, you know, the Capricorn is about the father's message, about how to act in the world, and Cancer is kind of about the mother and the home and, you know, the family. So you had that happening, that kind of alignment happening with the numbers, and then February 14th, that same day, so like I said, that kind of alignment happened in the middle of the night there for that moon with moon opposing Mercury. That was at 5:26 a.m. February 14th, and then the moon entered Leo at 6:17 a.m. like I just said, and that is kind of reminding us of the Fibonacci sequence, right? I think it was the 1.618 is the Fibonacci. I'm pretty sure that was the not the, was that the golden ratio? Let me see this. I should know this already. Alright, so yeah, that's the 1.618. That's the you know, there's even a Fibonacci gematria cipher based on this number, and or based on the Fibonacci sequence. And hold on. So yeah, the Wikipedia is saying the mathematics of the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence are intimately interconnected. So I don't know if they're the same thing, the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence, but they're saying it's intimately interconnected. So basically, though, it's that pattern of the spiral, the golden spiral. Anyway. We're getting off track here. The point is, how do we get under that? We're not off track, actually, because this number is sort of is 1 minute away from when this moon enters Leo. The moon enters Leo at 6:17 a.m. and you could say 618 would remind you of the 1.618. So, yeah, it's not 1618. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this. You guys can think what you want about that. I don't give two shits. The point is, you had all this sort of 29 aligning stuff happening, and then the next day you have Mercury entering Aquarius. And then the next day after that, we hear about the police chief resigning, and we already know that. And this is, by the way, we had the moon in Leo square Uranus in Taurus at 3:55 a.m. So that almost underscores all this, because like I stated in the last video, you know, if you want to do the proper Aquarius energies, you gotta be able to do the proper of the opposite of it, which is Leo. So you gotta be able to have fun. You gotta be able to be from the heart. You gotta be, you know, Leo's into romance. They're into play. You know, hobbies. So they're really into their passions and stuff like that, and they're very loving individuals. And you know, you have to be able to do that. And here's the other thing about Leos: like they're ruled by the sun, which never goes retrograde. So they're a constant source of energy, and that's why, you know, the balanced ones learn to depend on themselves and not have to depend on other people. The unbalanced ones then take it personally when other people are inconsistent with how much energy they give back to you, and that's because other people are ruled by planets that go retrograde, which means you know, from time to time, the thing they're doing, they gotta be more introspective about it and whatever. So when planets go retrograde, they you're more introspective about the shit that they're doing. You're reanalyzing things, and so right on the 29th of January, there's that number again, right? Like right on the 29th of January, Venus stopped going retrograde. So money matters and relationships, and it doesn't have to be romantic relationships, but any kind of relationship was solidified. So we don't really, and I know I'm getting off, again, this is not off track because the fucking guy's a Leo. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. But, alright, now I lost my train of thought. Alright, here we go, one more hit. One more hit of legal marijuana. Thanks to Trudeau, right? Oh my God. Goodness gracious. Such goodness. I don't know where I would be without these energy drinks. They're taxing on the heart, though, and that's what we're talking about here, is how Age of Aquarius is taxing on the heart for most people and situations, unless you do tap into that heart center more, and like I said, be like a Leo who's balanced, the balanced version of Leo, where and speaking of balance, this moon square Uranus at February 15th. It just happened at the morning before we heard about this shit. Was at 11 degrees. This square with, and what is a square? It's like a blockage energy. So our moon being in Leo, us gravitating towards wanting you know, attention and wanting to be admired and wanting to be getting compliments and stuff like that, was that kind of energy was kind of blocking our ability to address the long-term liberation itch, which is Uranus is liberation, and Taurus is about your you know, your body. And what is this whole thing about, right? It's about very much these vaccine mandates, and you know, when we talk about the number 15, because this was happening on the 15th, that's the 15th tarot card is the devil, right? So, and we might come back to this, but it's a good thing I thought of it now, actually, because I didn't pull this up before. But if you look up the numerical value of the word medical dictatorship in the database that I created at potentnews.com via the web brain at the top, you will see the word medical dictatorship, as I mentioned in the previous video, has the same numerical value as the word vaccine passports. So for the layman, that's like, what the hell are you talking about numerical value? Well, go watch Amir's Gematria Adventures on YouTube, and you'll know what I mean by gematria. I don't have time to get too much into it here, but to say that it is the process of getting a numerical value of a word, and there are different versions of that process. The version named LCH Kabbalah gives a value of 100. Gives a value of 159 for the words medical dictatorship and the words vaccine passports. So why am I saying this? Because 1 plus 5 plus 9, well, that's not how I should have said it with the hand there, but 1 plus 5 plus 9 did I do that right? Now I'm wondering. Fucking man, weed fucks your short-term memory, holy shit. Okay, but 1 plus 5 plus 9 is 15, and the 15th tarot card is the devil. So, is that something to be feared? No, because that card, if you get that card, is often about like an agreement that you made, or you being persuaded by somebody, or like you getting with someone in some relationship that you know you shouldn't get into, but you get into anyway. Or it can be about addictions, or anything where you feel like bound. But the people on that card, their chains are they seem to be large enough for them to be able to willfully remove them and just walk away. And to a large extent, that is what the truckers have done. I mean, if there are like this whole thing, the whole world's got their eyes on it, and they're all cheering. Okay, it seems like most of the police, that when I went there on the 1st, it's been 16 days later now, but when I went there on the night of the 1st, people were cool, the cops were cool. There was nothing weird, nothing violent, nothing like that. Nothing racist. So you know, it seems like most of the Canadian people are on the side of the truckers, and it seems like most of the world is, with respect to how many places have you know. So with respect to how many places have replicated this kind of protest, we have like in Israel, in Paris, in Netherlands, and elsewhere. So given that whole ability to attach the devil card and your ability to just take off the chains, attach that devil card to the number 15, which seems to be attached to 159, which is attached to the word medical dictatorship and vaccine passports. But then you also find, by the way, that the word coronavirus matches the word dictatorship, and the word vaccine agenda matches the word dictatorship. And there's more directions I can go with this, but I'll just leave it at that for now for that. So the point I'm saying this is because the 15th day is when we had this happen, this thing of the police chief resigning and everybody in the world talking about it. And like I said, happened right after Mercury enters Aquarius, and right after um, the next day after Mercury entered Aquarius, at we had that Moon Leo square Uranus and Taurus. So Uranus is also like awakening and eureka moments and like a sudden insight kind of thing. But it's also about society. And Taurus, it can be the sign of the dictator. Hitler was a Taurus, and, Mark Zuckerberg is a Taurus, but generally you could just associate it with Earth and stuff like that, and maybe more of the Capricorn type energies could be associated with police or military and stuff like that, and law, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is law. But regardless, a lot of this, like Uranus rules Aquarius. So like I said, Moon square, and the Moon moves fast, so it's squaring all sorts of shit all the time. So don't put too much stock in what I'm saying about the Moon here, but it is aligning in terms of the number 11, which is the 11th house is Aquarius. We have this Moon square Leo on the 11th degree, and 9 minutes. And so right after Mercury entered Aquarius, and with all the freaking 29 stuff before that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so I think now is a good time to move on from this, and wait a minute, wait. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll just get it. It's already been 31 minutes. I'm going to get into the police chief stuff. So let's see here. Freedom Convoy. One thing I should also address, the Give, Send, Go got hacked. Apparently, that was also interesting. They were the alternative to GoFundMe, who had, taken $10 million at one point from the truckers. And then apparently the GoFundMe gave a refund back to people, but truckers can't use GoFundMe for that shit, so they used Give, Send, Go, and then that got hacked. And I don't know what happened with that shit, but that was interesting. And it was also interesting that supposedly the message that the hackers left included a little bit of fear porn about like the Russia thing. About man, when people first told me about like this Russia, I wrote an article about Ukraine back in 2014, like right at the onset of that shit. But like nowadays, it's like if someone comes to me, like they're concerned about, I knew instantly off the bat that it wasn't going to be anything. And now to have these Give, Send, Go people list that as like one of the reasons that they decided to hack the Give, Send, Go is ridiculous. These truckers, they gave a lot of people a lot of hope, and I feel like, I don't know exactly when the trucker thing started, but I feel like a lot of it is emanating from Jupiter and Pisces. And let me just see if I can find when Jupiter entered Pisces. December 28th at 11:11 or 11:10 is what I got here. So 1 minute before 11:11 p.m. of December 28th. Jupiter enters Pisces, and I just noticed now that the connection to that 28, and one of the things that I wanted to say about about Peter John Slawley, the police chief who resigned today, which is supposed to be the focus of this video. But I'm sorry, guys. Like, that's just my ADD shit. I don't know if I'm ADD, but man, I got a lot of Mercury and Uranus energy, I think. Mercury is in Sagittarius, if I remember correctly. I should know this. Oh man, how do I not know this? Oh, it's ridiculous. Okay, let me double check this. Yeah, my Mercury is in Sagittarius, and Uranus is there too. So anyway, so this number 28. If we, and I'll get back to this, but Peter John Slawley, when he assumed office, because that's one thing I'm doing. I'm checking out the life path number of when a certain event happened. And I'm sure I hope other people have done this. I hope I'm not the first to do it like that. I don't think so. I probably saw someone do it one day and then whatever. But the point is, life path number of when this police chief assumed office was 5, which is the same life path number of Anthony Fauci and Regina E. Dugan. So one thing about the 5 is it's like scattered energy. So I could be wrong, but I feel like that may have been somewhat the nature of his thing, but also the nature of his employment there or whatever. But also 5 is 5 rules, or 5 is connected to Mercury, which rules Virgo and Gemini. And some people say Geminis are the exact type of people that you want to have in an emergency situation. And I'm not saying this is an emergency situation. Don't get it fucking twisted. Okay? Okay? But they think it is. And he has been in office since October 28th. There's that number. That's why I'm talking about this. That number that I just was talking about how when Jupiter entered Pisces, that was December 28th. And here we have when Peter Slawley, the police chief, assumed office, it was October 28th, 2019, by the way, but October 28th. Now, the other thing is this was, 2019 would have been a number 12 year, or a number 3 year, because 1 plus 2 is 3. And it's starting to seem like this video is going to require a part 2. I'm going to try to go faster to see if I can fit it all in one thing, because I know this phone for some reason cuts me off after 54 minutes, 53 minutes. We're at 38 minutes here. So, but okay, so to stay on track, that 12, that year that he took office was a number 12 year. So that, off the bat, is, excuse me, is connected to Jupiter, because the 12th zodiac sign is Pisces, which is ruled by, Pisces' previous ruler was Jupiter. Let me confirm that here. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah. So to have Jupiter enter Pisces, that's kind of like a double dose of Pisces, right? In a way. Especially since at the same time, we have had, for all of February, there was Neptune in Pisces, and, this is relevant because right now the events that happen today come on the heels or come before the Sun will enter Pisces. And then when that happens, you'll have the Sun and Jupiter and Neptune all in Pisces. Okay, and that's going to be on the 18th. The Sun will enter Pisces on the 18th. And check this out, Leah, check this out. Mercury went direct on the 3rd. And that might tie into this too, because we just said this guy's assumed office in 2019, which is a number 12 year, which is a 3. You know, and it remains to be seen how much I'm looking into this. But now here's another angle to it. Check this out. I want you to check this out. Okay? We're talking here. He took office at October, which is 10, which is 1 plus 0, which is 1. So you got the 1. And that was the 28th day, which is 2 plus 8, which is 10, which is 1 again. And we said 2019, which is 2 plus 1 plus 9, which is 12, which is 1 plus 2, which is 3. So that's 1 and 1 and 3. You got it? Okay? So that makes a 5, like we said, that connects that life path number of when he assumed office to Anthony Fauci and Regina E. Dugan. But even before, without that, if you just look at the 1 and the 1 and the 3, the word illusions equals 113 in gematria. And what is illusions? It's an aspect. It's an attribute of Neptune and mysticism. You know, Pisces like the dream world. They like altered states. They like. And here's the thing: when we had that Jupiter enter Pisces, like I do streaming on the POF streaming app, and like, so I see other people's streams and get a kind of taste of what's on the ground, you could say, of you know, in people's lives, and right when Jupiter entered Pisces, I noticed a lot more people crying right on their lives, and you know, yeah, like some people were milking it and stuff like that, and so that's one attribute of that. So you got to watch out for that in a number 6 year. You know, so that's with the Jupiter in Pisces. But on the positive side, it gave a lot of hope. It was a breath of fresh air of hope, and you know, it brought people together and stuff. It's just, it remains to be seen how much of that is straight up illusions and how much of that is real. But you had a heavy dose of reality with the ending of February, with the Capricorn stellium, or ending of January, by mistake, with that Capricorn stellium. So that was... you know, and again, I don't want to make this video too much like the last video. We got some things to cover here, but the point is Capricorn stellium, and Capricorn is basically ruled by Saturn, which is about law. So there's a heavy focus on law and order and stuff like that, right at the end of January. And actions, you know, when the sun went into Aquarius in you know, around 19th, 20th, or some shit like that, of January. So the actions would have been more about the group and liberation and stuff like that. And so it was well into that by the end of January. Kind of like more than a third of the way into the sun's dealing with Aquarius. So, but now we have a very short window now between the 14th when Mercury entered Aquarius and the 18th when the sun exits Aquarius. So I don't. I mean, even before and after this, in the first half and second half of February, you have the Venus and Mars really closely together. But you know, it's interesting to see what will unfold in the next few days, because you know, Pisces is about illusions. Who knows how much more illusions there will be once we get into Pisces season. part of me is wondering if there will be more arrests and things of that nature, because I know Pisces is about the 12th house, which is anywhere that's hidden, and that can mean prisons. So, with all that heavy dose of Capricorn energy, kicking off February, and pretty much also remaining, the only, like, it's like Mercury just left Capricorn, and like we said, it's the only thing that left. There's still, like I said, Mars, Venus, and Pluto. So Pluto is long-term shit, and that's like transformation and power and control issues and X-ray vision. So people, you can't sweet talk people right now. Like, even though there's excess of Capricorn, people still got that X-ray vision. It might, but like I said, at that beginning of February, that was even more in Capricorn. Now, so also, so I don't know if I mentioned, I hope I mentioned this earlier, that the day that this guy assumed office, or the date that Peter Slawley exited office was the 15th. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the 15th, and that being tied to the devil card. See, because I did try to record a video earlier than this, and then when I paused it, it canceled the whole video, so I figured I'd start again from scratch. So that's why I'm not sure if I said it already in this video or if it was another video. But alright, moving on here. Alright, so I'll say okay, hold on a second. See, this is what I was saying, is that when we enter Pisces season, it might be an overload of that. It's going to be a stellium, and it's going to be a lot of what I'm seeing with the alignment of the numbers makes me feel like it's going to be a lot of it's riding on that Jupiter in Pisces hope, and that may have been what fueled a lot of this this movement. And all right, so let me just ask my pendulum right here. According to my higher self. All right, so according to my comfortable a little bit more. According to my higher self, is the sun's entry, and I'll get to what I wanted to say. I always do this. I seem to always do this with the. Took forever to get into the information, but not really, because the thing that is always branched off a thing. So you guys, I know this video is going to cut it off. You better stick around for part 2 and check out part 2, because I don't like rushing my shit. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. Like, if it's going to take a certain length, it's going to take a certain length. If I got to stop right now and take a sip of this, that's what's going to need to happen. And it just happened. All right, so it's just annoying, though. It's annoying that I can't fucking have it be one video, because a lot of people are gonna just watch the second video and not check out the first one, and then they're gonna be lost in the shit. I gotta figure this shit out, or plan my shit better. Anyway, so according to my higher self, And here's another one I'll ask too. I'll ask about the prison thing. If more people are going to get arrested with this, the guy who replaced this Peter Slawley, whose name is Steve Bell, apparently. Ottawa Citizen article: Steve Bell, 25-year veteran, has been named interim Ottawa Police Chief Servant. So, so who knows how long? I don't know how long that guy's gonna be in there, and how long the other, you know, the what's gonna happen with this shit. But the point is, it's not gonna be this Peter Slawley guy anymore, and you know, and the thing that connects the Pisces stuff too is his statements about this stuff. This Peter Slawley statements. You know, like. And I'll get to the pendulum. I'll get to it in a second. But check this out. Real quick. Come on now. Okay, so he said, with a heavy heart, right? We talk all about this Leo shit. We said he's a Leo. Leo rules the heart. Okay? And he said he's stepping down with a heavy heart. And then also we have here, since, and this is from an article from Ottawa, or CTV News. It was released on the 15th. Since the onset of this demonstration, I have done everything possible to keep this city safe and put an end to this unprecedented and unforeseeable crisis. Is it really a crisis? Do you think the whole world is stupid enough to be trying to emulate this shit? If it's just a crisis, if it's just like, you know, I don't know. I mean, part of me likes to be neutral and everything and be skeptical about everything, but there's only, like, you know, at the same time, when you've pushed people to the limit, you know, what do you expect them to do? Like, you know, just sit there and just take this bullshit. This is he's sitting here having. I can't think straight with this stupid video countdown thing. Like, I think I'm gonna have to stop it soon here and just start a part 2. But let me see if I can really quickly get in before the thing cuts me off here. That question. Okay, so the question was, was Peter John Slawley actually quitting from his own choice, or was he forced to quit in some way, shape, or form? His own choice is left, forced to quit is right. Okay, and that's the thing that's going right. So that's what most people were saying, and I think they're correct. And the tone of the thing, if you read the article, you know, it says here, Deans said she would not comment further on Slawley's, this is Diane Deans, city councilor, she would not comment further on Slawley's departure because it's a labor relations matter. But the board's priority is to ensure there's a plan in place to peacefully end the occupation as expeditiously as possible. Yeah. So I think it's going to cut me off soon with this video. So yeah, hit me up for tarot readings or astrology readings, and check out part 2, which should be coming out right after this. And thank you for watching. And